Alrighty, so today we are going to do at least the first part of the review for these midweek action. And normally for midweek action, I would basically do a single video and just lump all the game together in one long review. Not gonna do that this midweek. There's 14 games that happened this midweek, a full slate of midweek action, and there is no way in hell I'm gonna do 14 games at the same time. That's just way too crazy, and this video would just be way too long. I'm pretty sure people don't even watch like the full review in terms of those big long 90 minutes reviews. So I'm pretty sure no one's gonna watch like 100 minutes or even a 2 hour review if I do all 14 games at once. So instead, today we're gonna look at 8 games, and tomorrow we are going to look at 6 games. Pretty much the same setup I would do in terms of reviewing weekend game compared to this match week where it's the midweek action. And one thing we definitely saw in this midweek, a lot of goals. Again, this is not a big surprise. We saw that happen last year too, where midweek action, for whatever reason, seems to be the most chaotic, and there's tons of goals that has happened. And something tells me that's by design, because Don Gabber's got to remind you that midweek action. This is at times must-watch TV, just like weekend action. And I would say that it's great the fact that there was a lot of midweek chaos, because on Wednesday MLS was really the only league that is going on right now, because MLB is in their All-Star break, and that yeah, this is definitely a great opportunity for a lot of these teams to draw in even the casual viewers. And again, these casual viewers definitely saw some great MLS action, some peak MLS moment, and even some major collapse that we saw in some of these games. And one of those is the first game I want to talk about, which is Atlanta versus NYCFC. And just as you thought, Atlanta was going to get a massive 3 points and probably play one of the best first half that they had in a very long time. Yeah, the second half happened and the meltdown happened again for this team. Now, early on, I also want to say that was probably the most empty I've seen MBS has been at kickoff. And, obviously, I know Atlanta continued to report numbers at 40,000 plus, but I think deep down, I'm pretty sure everybody, including Atlanta United fans, will say that that number is lying. And again, that number is just pay attendance. It's not actually the butts at the seat. I mentioned it many times before, including the time when I talk about the attendance throughout the league. And yeah, there's no way there was 40,000 inside the stadium. Probably, you would say at best, probably half of them actually was, because there was a lot of empty red seats, and rightfully so. Consider, one, it's a midweek game. It's always hard to draw a crowd in midweek game, but two, Atlanta has really struggled to a point where some of the casuals are have just completely checked out because of how things have gone. But that being said, those that weren't in stands, they definitely had something to celebrate. In fact, 20 seconds in, they celebrated with real scoring here from Lobjanidze to give Atlanta a 1-0 lead. Just 20 seconds into this game, I believe that's the quickest goal that Atlanta United has have scored in their franchise history. I don't recall they score a quicker goal than that, and that's definitely one of the quickest goal we have seen this season in MLS. And then it was 2-0 in favor of Atlanta when John De Silva puts it into the back net. The problem was the goal was disallowed for offside by VAR, so it remains 1-0. But he then was denied by freeze in the 70th minute. I thought John De Silva had a really good game in this one, very active, even though he wasn't on the score sheet. But it was all Atlanta early in this game, who desperately need 3 points. I mean, this team has gone for a really bad run form, even going back to when Gonzalo Pineda is in charge. The first shot for NYCFC did see Guzan denied Ojeda from close, but then the 38th minute, it's Saba time. So Lobjanidze, he scored here to give Atlanta a 2-0 lead, and yeah, that is one that Freeze probably want to have back, because he gave up a juicy rebound there, but all credit has to do with Saba Lobjanidze. Pounce on the rebound there to give Atlanta a 2-0 lead, and it could have been 3-0 if Silva had a curling shot that didn't struck the post, and then Bakra would hit it right to Guzan on a rare chance for NYCFC before Abram missed wide from close range. So yeah, at halftime it was 2-0 in favor of Atlanta. Could have been more, but probably the most lethal that Atlanta has had in the first half in quite some while. Problem is, this game is a 90 minutes game, and this is where alarm bells started to ring in the second half. Because in the second half, Bakra would miss wide from close range before he would do the same thing in the 58th minute. I want to say that he's not allowed to score a goal, but he's been scoring at least in the ever since he broke that goal scoring curse a couple of games. ago, and spoiler alert, he would score in this game too. But I thought it was a much better start for NYCFC. Like they were completely getting outplayed in the first half. Whatever Nick Cushing said in the locker room definitely helped this team. Muyumba would put it wide from close, but then in the 65th minute, Bakra would score, and it was a gift too because Schleet basically committed WTF turnovers, set up Moonsa Bakra through on goal. If this was before the when Bakra broke his goal scoring drought a couple of games ago, he probably would have missed that, but he didn't miss this one. So yeah, that gave NYCFC back into this game. It's a one-goal lead now. Matjevich would then puts it wide on the header, and the momentum was all with NYCFC right now. They were pressing to try to get the equalizer, and then a penalty was given to NYCFC as Lennon pulled down Magno there in the box. Remember Dallas Magno? Yeah, he still is an NYCFC player. He's been kind of a forgotten man, but he would bury the penalty after he won it just 2 minutes later, and just like that, it's once again another bitter meltdown for Atlanta. It has happened a lot throughout this bad run of form. TRE did look to respond, but he was robbed by Freeze from point blank effort. What a save that was from Matt Freeze, and then he heads it right to Freeze in the 87 minutes. Something tells me that Jamal TRA is gonna have nightmares about Matt Freeze late after this game. And then Freeze would deny Silver from close as Atlanta was pressing back to trying to get the winner. NYCFC they were looking to hold on to get a point, and they do get exactly that. As in the end, it's a 2-2 draw on this one. Shots in this one, 13 shots for the 11 that NYCFC had, 5 shots on goal for the 9 that Atlanta has. Both team had 3 shots off target. One shot was blocked for the 3 that NYCFC had, and possession wise, 59% possession compared to 41% possession that Atlanta has in this game. There's no doubt that I think NYCFC will be the more happier side coming out with a point, even though I know the struggle continue when it comes to their role form. They haven't got a lot of wins on the road, and it looked like this was going to be an L, especially the way that they play in the first half. But all credit to them. They definitely show some fight in the second half. But for Atlanta, yeah, this is not going to do it. Yes, they play a very good first half, but again, this is a game of 90 minutes, and if you only play one good half, especially if you do it in the first half, like if you do it in the second half, then that could always be a good thing because you always want to finish strong. But if you only do it in the first half, that usually does not lead to good thing, and that's kind of the case in this one where a team that desperately need free points. They don't get it, and yeah, Richard sure Five Stripe fan once again is very disappointed to not see their team win at MBS. It hasn't happened a lot. Ever since this bad run of form that they've been going through for a while now. But that being said, moving on in the next match is Cincinnati versus the Chicago Fire. Now, I understand that Cincinnati did not have Lucho Acosta in this game, and I understand that defense is just completely right now, and they were starting a relatively weaker squad. But there is no way in world they should be losing 1-0 to the Chicago Fire. And this is no disrespect to the Chicago Fire, but this is a team that just not long ago they lost to the worst team in the league and got shut out by the worst team in the league. And I would also say that this kind of performance by the Fire just kind of feels it's like on point on them, where it's just if you're a Fire fan, I mean, I know that they're probably very happy about this result, but you can't be very frustrated the fact that why can this is a version of them that they have they shown, and that once again it seems like the Fire are starting to repeat the pattern that I've talked about with them, and kind of a narrative I've said about them a couple of years ago, where they always go through this pattern where they win a game, they draw a game, they lost a game, and then they repeat that cycle over and over again. And in other words, I would say that's the inconsistent cycle. Now, in the first half, the first shot of the game did see Haile Selassie miss wide from close range, and I would like to say this was not a fluke by the Fire. The Fire deserved to win this game. They created some really good chance against the Cincinnati team, and they actually forced Sanatano to make a couple of saves. He first denied Suke from long range, as I thought the visitors started well. They were looking for the opening goal. Again, even without Lucho, this is an uncharacteristic slow start for Cincinnati at home. They also mentioned that Cincinnati is 0-1-5 when Lucho is not in the starting 11. And I know Lucho means a lot to this team. Heck, he's the reigning MVP of this team. He's the linchpin of this team. But even then, I mean, with the talent that they have on the attack, just really surprised the fact that they couldn't string together. Mueller would then hits one wide from close range before Assad would hits one right to Brady. Salutano then denied Kuipers after he gave the straight to Kuipers there. So yeah, Salutano definitely got away with that one big time. He just made amends of almost a goalkeeping howler he committed. Again, not the first time we've seen that happen, because as good as Roman Salutano as it is, I'm still gonna stick by saying that I do think that he's not as good as what many people say, and I don't want to use the word the O word, the overrated word on there, but there's been times where Salutano has been shaky and make some bad mistake, and this was one of those moments, and he is very lucky he got away with one there. Buka then puts it wide from close before he does it the same thing, this time from long range just 4 minutes later. We then go for a period where not much happened, and we do head to halftime with the scoreless between both of these teams. In the second half, this is when it started to become really back and forth. Oriano would hit it right to Brady before Salutano denied Kuipers from close. Brady on the other end denied Oriano from close. And then Salutano on the other end denied Kuipers from long range, as this thing is basically end to end. Like both of these teams was pushing for the opener. On the other end, Brady would deny Assad from long range before he denied Oriano from the free kick. Barlow on the other end tried to score, but this is Tom Barlow, and you know he's not going to score. He hits the side netting after just a bad turnover there from Cincinnati. Suke would hit one that was deflected, and it was saved by actually I don't know why I wrote Brady. It's actually Salutano, the one that makes the save. And then Brady denied Oriano from close range. I mean, can you blame me for mixing up with the goalkeepers, because it felt like it was a goalkeeping duel. Both of these goalkeepers were trying their best to keep this one 0-0 for so long, but unfortunately in the 69th minute, nice, that goal scoring streak finally broke, as Brian Gutierrez, coming off the bench in this one, he scored from Kuipers to give the Fire a 1-0 lead, and that was a Pete Keller moment there where, yeah, I mean, he basically gave the ball in a really bad spot. There's a reason why Austin didn't want him and decided to cut him. And while, I will say that since Cincinnati at least give him a second chance, and I don't think he's as bad as he is. Yes, he had that horror show in the game against St. Louis, but I feel like he was kind of being a little bit hard done and kind of being put in the dog cows, even though it was just based on that one bad game. But yeah, here he just that's not a great moment for him, and it reminds. I'm pretty sure if you're an Austin fans watching this, and if there was any Austin fans watching it, they're probably saying, "Yep, this is the reason why we decided to sell Kip Keller. We never rated him, and he made these kind of mistake, and there you go." But in the 78th minute, Santos did look to respond, but he missed wide there, as Cincinnati was pressing to get the equalizer, but that took a hit in the 88th minute when Alvis Powell just got sent off in this game, and it was just a rush of blood. I mean, this was a situation where he completely lost his composure. He basically shoved Suke into the advertisement board, and then decided to basically put hands to the face and shove Omsberg as a result, and that is a result of double yellow card. In fact, I would say there was incident where you could argue Powell probably would have got 3 red card in terms of those two sequences, and then another sequence that could have been worthy of a red card. So yeah, well, he deserved a red card there. Would not be surprised he might get even an additional game of suspension, because that was just a moment of madness from Alva's his power, and just kind of sums up the night for Cincinnati. It was a very frustrating night. Brady then denied Bupenza from close range. Remember Bupenza? Yeah, he's still with Cincinnati. He finally finished serving the suspension, and that he's now back with this team. And that's gonna be interesting with him and Kevin Kelsey. Those two number 9, they're gonna be battling each other out for that spot. I think Kelsey has the upper edge because how good he's been ever since he arrived with Cincinnati. And then in the 5th minute stoppage time, talk about another moment where Cincinnati just completely lost it. Pat Nolan, a guy that is not known to lose it very easily and be very fiery on the touchline. Well, he was hot in this game. He was hot because of some of the referee decision, and the referee basically gave him 2 yellow cards, and there he goes. He's gone in this game, and it just completely unraveled for Cincinnati. Now, I understand that yes, there was some bad refereeing throughout this game, and there were calls that gone against Cincinnati throughout this game. But I do think that, one, that's not the reason why they lost this game. They lost this game because they weren't being clinical in terms of their finishing, and also, again, just the attack, basically firing blank throughout this game, and the defense not being very good. But also the fact that, I don't think any Cincinnati fans could argue with the Alvis Powell part. That red card is probably the most deserved red card I have seen this season in the league. So yes, I understand that Pat Nolan is very upset with the referee decision. He did mention that in the post game press conference. Something tells me he's going to get a fine from Disco as a result of that. But yeah, it just kind of sums up of just a nightmare week Cincinnati has had. They have not looked the same team ever since that 6-1 win that they had against Inter Miami. And again, that's what happened when you have a big win like Cincinnati has in that 6-1 win against Miami. You can suffer a huge letdown, and man, what a letdown it's been this week for Cincinnati, losing to Chicago in this one nothing in this one. Shots in this one, 19 shots for the 16 that Chicago has. Both team had 8 shots on goal, 3 shots off target for the 5 that Chicago has, 3 shots on blocked for the 8 that the Cincinnati has, and possession wise 7% possession compared to the 30, or actually I'm sorry, 64%. Actually, no, 62% possession compared to 34% possession, which that actually does not add up to 100%. That's only 96%. And again, I got that according to the league. Again, the league they don't know how to do math apparently, and at least the stat keeper doesn't know how to do math. But yeah, either way, what a huge surprise, and really, again, for Cincinnati, they got to get themselves back together. And I know every team has these kind of bad run of form there, but Cincinnati got to make sure that this does not start to unravel them, because it's one thing to lose at home against Charlotte. Charlotte's a very good team. It's another to lose against the Chicago Fire that has just been very inconsistent, and the Fire is starting out becoming the team that I was talked about a couple of years ago, where it's almost impossible to predict them. You just don't know what kind of version of team that you get, and that could be a very frustrating thing if you're a Fire fan. Though I'm pretty sure they've been pretty much frustrated about their team for now the past decade or so. With that being said, moving on in the next match, we got Columbus versus Charlotte. So this might be a preview of an MLS playoff match, and if that is the case, boy, signing up for more of this, because yeah, this is a game where I think for Charlotte this week they have definitely sent a message to the rest of the league where, coming into this week they have pretty much an absolute murderous road to go into Ohio to face against two teams that I mentioned before. It seems like the road to MLS Cup might be going through Ohio, though Inter Miami would love to want to have their say and want to have a word with that, considering they still are at the top of the standings. But yeah, I mean Charlotte in this game, and while it wasn't pretty whatsoever in this game, they were absolutely battered in this game against Columbus. They held in there. They did the bend but don't break kind of procedure, and as a result, they were rewarded by that of getting a big road draw and a game where it is very rare you see Columbus drop points at home. Now, early on, Columbus had most of the possession as Charlotte was elected to sit deep. The shots were 2-0, 15 minutes in. Ajiman had a diving header that missed wide. There was also no commentary after the 15th minute, and I actually don't mind that because I actually do love to see a game where there's no commentary, and I wish that in the future Apple TV has that option where you can just turn off the commentary and just hear the crowd noise, because it just makes you feel like you're at the game, and it has that authenticity, and especially when you have just games where there's the commentary team that are just annoying as hell, and I know there are some on Apple TV. I wish there's an option where I can do so. Though this is not one of those games. I do love Tyler Terrence and Kendrick Decent Open, and that obviously this is a pair that I've heard a lot as a Loons fan, because it's kind of weird that they were signed in this game and not in the Minnesota versus DC game, as it feels like that's kind of the case for the whole season, whenever Minnesota play at Allianz Field, it's Tyler Terrence and Kendrick DC Open calling the game. But that being said, in the 17th minute, Cucho did heads it high from close as the possession was 64-36 in favor of Columbus. There was no penalty that was given to the Crew, as VAR deemed that Milanda did not handball this one. That was the right call. I mean, it was pretty clear that that ball hits the shoulder of Milanda. And after the VAR decision was made, it seems like that whoever was working on the audio for Apple TV found the right switch. So the commentary was back after the VAR decision. Ramirez then puts it over from long range before Zazwatsky puts it wide from long range. Columbus was knocking on the door with some sustained pressure. Armstead would hit one right to Kalina, but then in the 31st minute, that pressure finally took a toll on the Charlotte defense. As guess who? Lucho Hernandez. He scored to give Columbus a 1-0 lead. And it's one thing to trying to stop Cucho from scoring, but it's another to just absolutely give wrapped him a goal. I mean, this is one that, Milana has had a good season for Charlotte, but this is definitely not a moment he wanted to look back. Just completely gave it straight to Cucho, and that's the last guy you want to give the ball away in a bad spot. Kalina then denied Arslan from close. It was all Columbus up to this point. They were pressing for a second goal, but we do head to halftime with the Crew leading 1-0. In the second half, we had a bit of a weather delay as the game had to be restarted at 9:17 p.m. This is not the only game that actually had a weather delay at halftime. Rossi would then hit one right to Kalina before Hagen denied Abada from close. Amundsen would then hit it wide from close range, and then Kalina had to deny Rossi as he pushed this one onto the post. Again, Columbus, it, they were pressing for the second goal. It's all Columbus again. They definitely didn't look like they skip a beat, even with the long weather delay. In fact, the possession was now 74 to 26 in favor of Columbus. The Crew was just pinning Charlotte deep. Charlotte just could not get out of their own half for most of this game. Ramirez then heads it wide despite getting a free header there. And this is where you start to think, this is still 1-0. And that will these missed chances come back to haunt Columbus because we seen this happen many times before. Just because you're one of the best team in the league and you have a good godly record at home, if you don't put the game away and you don't kill this game off and let your team let your opposition hang around, it's gonna come back to haunt you. And this is where it started to kind of come back to haunt Columbus. Because Hagen, who hasn't really done much in this game, he denied Abada from close, and then Abada hits one straight to Hagen, and Charlotte started to gain some momentum. They were putting some sustained pressure, looking for the equalizer. Though Kalina did had to deny Cucho, but Farsi gets a second crack of it. But he was also denied by Kalina, as Christian Kalina doing everything he can in this game to keep Charlotte in, and that was a huge moment and too, or a huge thing for Charlotte too. Because after Tavares puts it right to Hagen in the 81st minute, in the 83rd minute, I actually got the wrong team in terms of the goal score. So let me just change that real quick. But yeah, in the 83rd minute, Charlotte finally broke through. It's Ajiman that breaks through for Charlotte. Not a big surprise because Patrick Ajiman continued to kill that. Charlotte don't really need a DP number 9. He's the guy that can do the thing. And really, one that, while it was a great goal there for Charlotte to tie the game up, Nick Hagen would want to have that back because yeah, he probably should have got there. He was charging off his line, couldn't quite get there in time, and when that happens, yeah, you're in no man's land. That's exactly what happened. Tavares then missed an absolute sitter in the back post in the 89th minute. Boy, Charlotte came very close in terms of stealing it. And it looked like they were going to do so, stealing all 3 points at lower.com field. Cucho would then puts it high from long range, and then Matan had a shot that was deflected wide. But yeah, in the end, Charlotte again, what a gutsy performance this is. Not a lot of team is able to go to lower.com field and get a point against the defending champ, but that's exactly what they did. It's a 1-1 draw on this one. Shots on this one, 22 shots for the 12 that Charlotte has, 6 shots on goal for the 7 that Columbus had, 6 shots off target for the 4 that Charlotte has, 3 shots on block for the 4 that Columbus had, and possession-wise, 68% possession compared to 32% possession that Charlotte has in this game. And for Columbus, very, very frustrating game. And this is also another reminder that even the best team in the league will have one of these games, even at home, where the finishing was just not there. And in this game, if they were just being a little bit better in terms of finishing, they would absolutely win this game 9 out of 10 time. But all credit has to be shown. They weather the multiple storm that the Crew puts. And, when you play that bend but don't break kind of defense, sometimes it can work out on your favorite. And that's exactly what happened in this game for Charlotte. Now, moving on, in terms of the next match, is Toronto versus Inter Miami, and this I think is a classic example of what happened when you don't also put away your chances against Inter Miami. Because how many times we've said before, just because at times you're the better team against Inter Miami, especially early in the game, if you don't put away your chances, oh boy, you are gonna lose that game 9 out of 10 time, or even 10 out of 10 time. Because this season, one of the things that Inter Miami has lived for is the fact that they are a clinical team. Like they don't need one or two chances, or they don't need like 3 or 4 chances to score the first goal. They just need one sniff of goal, and it's in the back of the net, and they can score even when they look like they're getting absolutely pummeled by the opposition side. Now that being said, it was a slow start to this game as there was no shot for the first 15 minutes. The first shot of the game did saw Insigne hits it right to counter before Petretta had a shot that was deflected wide. Again, Toronto they got off to a good start, but again, you're facing against Inter Miami. You need to get the opening goal. Well, DeAndre Kerr tried to do so, and yeah, he would want to have this one back. He just missed an absolute sitter from close range, and this is when I realized, yeah, Toronto's gonna regret this because how many times we have seen that happen, and Inter Miami punish their opposition of not being clinical. In fact, they punished them in the 43rd minute. And really, this is only the second shot of the game for Inter Miami, but it's in the back of the net as Diego Gomez he scored from Redondo to give Miami a 1-0 lead. It was a monster game here for Redondo making his return to the Inter Miami team in this game. Benedeschi did look to respond, but he was denied by counter, and we do head to halftime with Miami leading 1-0. And then in the second half, this is when Miami took over. And remember what I said about Federico Redondo had a big game? Well, he would score. I think this is his first career MLS goal because I don't think he has scored so far for Inter Miami, as he scored here from Gresso to give Miami a 2-0 lead. Just lazy set piece defending from TFC. In that one, just way too much space there for Redondo to easily put that one in. And then just 5 minutes later, he scored again. This time from Gomez and Russell to make it 3-0. And this is when I thought, yeah, this could get ugly for TFC because knowing their defensive record and also Miami at times when they are on their game and when they're rolling, yeah, it's going to be 4, 5, or 6 very, very, very soon. I thought this could get really ugly for TFC. Now, to Toronto credit, they did kind of stop the bleeding at least for a bit and started to get back into this game. But they couldn't solve Drake Counter at least up to this point as he denied Benedeschi from close range before Owusu would puts one right to counter. The good news is eventually they did solve him in the 80th minute as Derek Etienne Jr. he scored from Marshall Ruddy and Thompson to get one back for TFC. Bright did look to respond to restore the free goal lead, but he missed wide there, and then Suarez would curls it wide from close as he made his return back to this Inter Miami side. Taylor would then flash one wide from long range, and then Suarez just puts it wide after just another bad turnover from TFC. That's kind of sums up the recent form for this defense for Toronto, just giving the ball away over and over again, very similar to what we saw last season. And yeah, in the end, it was an easy 3-1 win that Inter Miami had against Toronto. Shots in this one, 10 shots per the 8 that TFC had, 4 shots on goal per the 5 that Miami has, 4 shots off target per the 2 that TFC had. Both teams had 1 shot that was blocked, and possession-wise, TFC actually had more of the possession, 52% possession compared to 48% possession that Inter Miami has in this game. And again, that's very rare because Inter Miami is a team that just love to have the ball. But yeah, again, this is a game that how many times I've said it this season as a reminder. When you play against the likes of Inter Miami, how good they have been this season, you got to put away your chances and bury this team because if you don't bury this team and put away your chances, that's exactly what happened. And this felt like it's just easy light work for Inter Miami. You knew that even when they were not playing well, that I'm pretty sure they weren't worried whatsoever because they've done this before. They can turn it on just like that, and they did exactly that throughout this game. With that being said, I am now going to change boards and look at the last 4 games as part of part number 1 of this review of these midweek action from match week number 26. So moving on, in the next game, we got the Red Bulls and Montreal. So this was the other game that had a lengthy weather delay at halftime, even longer than the one between Columbus and Charlotte. And I think this game, at times, just kind of summarized the Red Bulls' recent form. This team should be much better than they are in terms of their points total and their record. They just can be a little bit more clinical in terms of finishing, and that lack of finishing once again cost them in this game against Montreal. And one of those players that has been at the core of that lack of finishing is Dante Van Zier. And it's getting to a point where Dante Van Zier might have started to reach the same level as Giacomo Baroni in terms of the biggest bust in MLS history, or at least one of the biggest busts. Though I will say that that's a little bit of a disrespect to Veroni because he's been at least scoring. You can't say the same about Van Zier. I mean, he just absolutely snake in right now. It feels like he's back to the form that he was last season, where he can't buy a goal. And this is even when this opportunity where he puts it wide from long range was because he was just gifted to him, and Van Zier said, "Yep, no, I'm not gonna take that chance because I can't put the ball into the back of the net right now." Harper then puts it high from close range. It was all Red Bulls early as they were looking for the opener. In fact, it was all Red Bulls for most part of this game. And the good news for the Red Bulls, eventually in the 18th minute, they break through. It's Wiki Carmona. He scored from Nealis to give the Red Bulls a 1-0 lead. Morgan did look for his second, or look for a second for the Red Bulls, that is, but he was denied by Siwas. We go for a period where not much really was created, and the next chance came in the 42nd minute as the post denied Carmona of his second goal and also Red Bull's second. And then Van Zier had a chance from the doorstep of goal. You know what's going to happen. He's going to put that one wide. He's now reaching Tom Barlow kind of territory in terms of just getting absolutely snake bitten. In fact, that number 9 position for the Red Bulls have just been absolutely cursed ever since Bradley Wright Phillips left. Like ever since BWP left, they have not had a number 9 that can put the ball in the back of net regularly. But we do head to halftime with the Red Bulls leading 1-0, and like I said, we had a lengthy weather delay in this game as well. But in the 55th minute, Seawas would denied Harper from close, and just like the first half, it's been all Red Bulls, but the inability to finish again. They had a lot of chances this one, but they just cannot put the ball into the back of the net. Besides that one chance that Carmona has had, and you wonder it's gonna haunt them again in this one. Is it? Yes, it does, because in the 67th minute, Joseph Martinez would score off the free kick. It took a wicked deflection there to score on the free kick. That is his 109th MLS goal, and he's definitely creeping up to the territory of some of the top goals scored in MLS history. Now, is he going to potentially catch Landon Donovan just like Kai Kamara would do so? I don't know. I mean, he's still a long way to go in terms of Donovan record and especially his goal scoring. It has gone a little bit better, at least lately, but still nowhere near the level that he was with Atlanta United. But we'll see. We'll see eventually if he does catch Donovan and get up to the level that Kai Kamara is in terms of the being the top goal scored ever in MLS history. But in the 75th minute, Manuel did look to retake the lead, but he was denied by Siwas. But in the 75 minute as well, and really on the ensuing corner, Matthew Schreiner unfortunately scored an own goal here. Yeah, just very unfortunate here where he was trying to clear it, and this is kind of a defender's worst nightmare where you're trying to clear it, completely whips it, and it just go backwards and into your own net. So yeah, definitely one of the uglier own goal that is being scored, or one of the craziest own goal, depending on how you look at things. But that gives the Red Bulls a 2-1 lead. That lead barely lasts 40 seconds because a penalty was given to Montreal. Well, actually, it lasted more than 40 seconds, but in terms of a chance to potentially holding on to that for more than 40 seconds was all gone because the penalty was given to Montreal after Nealis bought down. Oh god, I wrote two name here by accident. Again, I wrote this so fast, so I don't have a chance to basically see this. Actually, I think it's Vine Serum, the one that of course was fouled there in the box there. So yeah, either way, it was a penalty for Montreal. They did check VAR to see whether or not if Nealis offense on Vine Serum was considered Doxo. And on first look, it definitely looked like it was Doxo, and it was. So Nealis was gone in this game. The Red Bulls were down to 10 men, and Martinez, of course, steps up to take the penalty, and he buried this one to tie the game up at two apiece. Reyes then looked to answer, but he hits it wide from the corner before Vincier puts it wide from long range, and then Cornell denied Duke from close, and all of a sudden the momentum was with Montreal. Like for this whole game, the Red Bulls took control of this game, but that's how things can quickly turn, and now they're trying to press to try to get the winner. And it looked like they got it in the 5th minute of stoppage time when Juan puts it into the back of the net, trying to score for the third game in running, but the flag did not agree with him. So the goal was disallowed for offside. And then Morgan had a chance to do so, but he struck the post, which again, that just kind of sums up the Red Bulls' recent form. It has to be very frustrating if you're a Red Bulls fan, where they've been playing very well lately. They just cannot find that clinical finishing, and I guarantee you they also might be missing Email Frostberg a lot too. I mean, I know, Email Frostberg is more of a guy that create chances, and this is a Red Bulls team that hasn't struggled to do so. But something tells me that if he was on the pitch, they might have created more chances. And not to mention, he probably will take it himself in terms of, well, if nobody can finish in my team, I might as well just take the responsibility and score on myself. But yeah, very frustrating 2-2 draw in this game for the Red Bulls over Montreal. The shots in this one, 15 shots for the 7 that Montreal has, 3 shots on goal for the 6 that the Red Bulls had, 2 shots off target for the 4 that the Red Bulls had. Both teams had 2 shots that was blocked, and possession-wise, 59% possession compared to 41% possession the Red Bulls has in this game. Obviously, the road team is going to be the more happier side. Montreal, they haven't been doing very well this season on the road, but they got a big point in this game to keep themselves within the playoff race, which is actually really tight in the Eastern Conference. And I might want to go back to say that some of these teams that I've said that they're done in terms of their chances of making the playoffs, that might not be the case, at least in the East, because of the way that there's only like a 5 point gap between the team currently in ninth place all the way down to the team that is currently dead last in the Eastern Conference. And that team that is currently dead last right now in the East is back to the New England Revolution. Because moving on in the next game, and I would like to say, welcome Philly. I mean, this season, I can't believe it happened again. Where every time when I make a video talking about a team that is in a struggling form, the very next game they not only get a big win, but they get a massive win as well. Somebody tells me I need to do a video about Minnesota because Minnesota has been really struggling as I'll talk about in just a bit, and maybe magically they'll win their game in that Blues North Derby against the Quakes. But yeah, like I said, you're welcome, Union fans. Every time when I make a video about a team being on a bad run, they immediately go on an incredible, or well, at least I wouldn't say winning streak, but at least they go on a game where they put up their best performance of the season, and this was by far the best performance that the Union had against New England. And at times in this game, there was a flash of when the Union were at their peak of their power and just being an absolute buzzsaw against their opposition. Now, early on, the post would deny Elliott from close range. That also would foreshadow what we see because, again, the Union dominated this game from start to finish. Martinez would then flash one wide from long range as the Union was on the front foot. They were pressing for the opener. Baribo would hit it right to Ivicic as the shots were 6-1 for the Union up to that point, 27 minutes in. But the problem is, there was only one shot on goal. Well, on the second shot on goal, it's in the back of the net. It's Ty Baribo. He cannot stop scoring right now. He scored from Elliott and Wagner to give the Union a 1-0 lead. So who need Julian Carranza when Ty Baribo is definitely on a tear right now? And who would have thought that he was a perfect replacement for those goals that they've been missing from Julian Carranza. In the 36th minute, Bajatovic did try to pull one back, but he pulls it wide from long range. And then Ivicic would tip Martinez from long range. Safe to say that when Jose Martinez back in this team, that this Union side looked much more stabilized in their defensive shape, but also him try to score some long range effort. And in the 39th minute, speaking of being of a goal, well, I wouldn't say a long range effort, but a goal that was scored. Well, in the 39th minute, we did see a goal here as Glesnes was scored from Wagner. This actually came in the ensuing corner, and Apple TV basically had a Fox moment here. Yeah, so one of the things that I've always get very frustrated with Fox Sports is that they show way too many replay, and then eventually they miss a goal. Yeah, it feels like Apple TV is not safe from this. They showed a replay in terms of Ivicic, amazing save from Martinez, and they missed the goal that Glesnes have scored. So that's got to be very frustrating if you're a neutral fan, and even as a Union fan as well, seeing your team score and you didn't even get a chance to see it live unless you're at the stadium. But just 4 minutes later, they definitely did see this one live on TV as Baribo would score again. He scored from Uru and Bedoya to give the Union a 3-0 lead. And again, this looked like the Union of the old in terms of how they were going on their attacking forward. And we do head to halftime with the Union leading 3-0. Could have been 4-0 if the post didn't deny Martinez on the curler. Again, Martinez was definitely feeling it when it comes to long range effort in this one. Bedoya then puts it high from long range, and again, the Union picked up where they left off. They were looking for more in this game, though. In the 50th minute, Ian Harkes did score a goal of the week contention goal to give one back for New England, and that was probably the only thing that Revs fan had anything to cheer for. And I get the Revs were very decimated coming into this game. That maybe played to the reason why the Union got a big win in this one. But keep in mind, the Union has always found ways to lose even against some of the worst team in the league. So that was not a guarantee, though, even when they face against a shorthanded New England team. That being said, just 2 minutes later, the Union wastes no time to rescore their free goal lead as Ty Baribo would score his first career hat trick from Wagner and Elliott to make it 4-1 in favor of the Union. Uru then puts it wide from close range, and then we go for a period where not much really happened. It feels like both of these teams just kind of playing out the string there. There's really not much to really attack. Like knowing this game is well and truly done, and this is also where I kind of stop not paying too much attention to this game because at 4-1, New England is not coming back. And in the 85th minute, the Union would add a fifth one as Quinn Sullivan would score from Glesnes here. Definitely contention for goal of the week as well. And also moments after Quinn Sullivan scored, his younger brother Kevin Sullivan would make history of becoming the youngest MLS player to make his debut, and that obviously is the big headlines coming out of this game. So sorry, Ty Baribo. I know he had an amazing moment getting his first career hat trick, but you cannot not not actually shine the bright lights of this phenom that is Kevin Sullivan, and a guy that could be the next best thing, making his debut in this game and becoming the youngest MLS player to do so, breaking Freddie Adu record that we saw back in 2004. Now in the 90th minute, that being said, he looked like he was trying to score in his debut. I mean, what a moment that would have been if Kevin Sullivan would score his on his debut, but he hits this one right to Ivicic in the 90th minute. But yeah, in the end, it was a 5-1 win the Union had against New England. By the way, I don't really have too much insight on Kevin Sullivan in this game. I mean, he barely played in this one coming off the bench. I mean, he had that shot there in the 90th minute, but besides that, it's very little I can tell about Kevin Sullivan. Though, if you're a Union fans and especially watch the second team, you probably will have more insight because he's been playing with the second team a lot uh late lately. But yeah, in the end, a 5-1 win the Union had against New England. The shots in this one, 19 shots for the five that the Revs had, one shots on goal for the eight that the Union has, four shots off target for the two that the Revs had, one shot was blocked for the four that the Union has, and possession wise 50% for both of these teams. Though again, remember, this is against a New England team that was very shorthanded coming into this game. So I mean, well, I'm pretty sure Union fans are very happy and that they're very relieved the fact that they finally win at home. It feels like it's been a while since that has happened. You got to take a little bit grain of salt that they were playing against a New England team that you might as well just say this was a New England Revolution 2 team playing against the Union because of how bad it is. But still, taking anything away, great win it is for the Union. And again, we'll see whether or not if they can stay in this playoff hunt. Again, I mentioned only 5 points separate between the team dead last all the way up to ninth position. So, as much as I've said that the Union might we need to go for a rebuild. And I stand by my words thinking that is the case. I don't see this current core is going to stay intact heading into the off season and continue to look good. But there's a glimmer of hope that the Union got in this game, and we'll see whether they can carry into the next game as well. That being said, moving on into the next game on this board is Dallas and Austin FC. And no disrespect toward the Texas Derby and El Capitan between Dallas and the Houston Dynamo, but I think this might be the hottest Texas Derby we have so far because yeah, this was probably really the fiery we have seen a Copa Tijas in a very long time, especially of that one moment that we had in the middle of this game. So early on, the goals quickly came in this Copa Tijas as Paul Arriola would score from Farrington to give Dallas a 1-0 lead. The lead lasted 7 minutes as Zardes would score from Pereira to tie the game up at one apiece. We then go for a long period where not much really happened. Barrow would hit one wide from long range in the 35th minute, and then we do head to halftime with the score tied up at one apiece. In the second half, a penalty was given to Dallas after Wolf handball this one in the box. Now, Richard Poss was able to deny Musa from the spot, but they did go to VAR to see whether or not or actually, I'm sorry, not Poss. Stuvert actually denied Musa from long range. I've been very bad when it comes to writing down notes today. But yeah, Stuver denied Musa from the spot. But VAR deemed that Stuver came off his lines in this play, and it was the right call. You can clearly see that Brad Stuver was just a little bit off his lines right there, so they had to do a retake, and Musa buries that one, and he definitely had some choice words with the Austin player, especially with Julio Cascante. There must be something that was said after the penalty that was missed originally from Musa. And that Musa definitely didn't hold back. He definitely decided to exchange words as well. Got a yellow card as resort of it, and then all hell broke loose after that. And again, this is a rivalry game. When that, of course, has happened, it was just a mass confrontation. Something tells me both of these teams are going to get fined or even get a big warning for the mass confrontation. But I don't care. I love this kind of stuff. Bring me this kind of fiery stuff in a rivalry game, and I would watch any rivalry game as much as possible. And that there's also resort in Driussi getting himself sent off after he kind of a little bit of a punch there. Originally, it was actually Cascante the one that got sent off, but they go to VAR again to see if there was a mistaken identity. There was, so Driussi, of course, was sent off in this game. But yeah, just a wild sequence where both of these teams was really just going at it each other. In the 69th minute, Pass would deny Barrow from close before he denied Pereira in the near post. And despite Austin being down a man, they were still looking pretty good, creating some good chances, looking to try to get the equalizer. But that chance all came to an end in the 76th minute when Marco Farfran would score from Ariola to give Dallas a 3-1 lead. Stuver then denied Ansa from close range before a pass denied Pereira in the near post. Gallagher then missed Hyde from long range in the 90th minute. But in the end, Dallas with a big 3-1 win in this one over Austin. And with this win, I believe they have now secured Copa TRs if I'm not mistaken. I gotta look at the Copa TR standing. I'm guilty of not actually looking at the standing right now, but certainly I think Dallas is in a very good place right now because they beat Austin also earlier this season as well at Toyota Stadium. But the shots in this one, 9 shots for the 11 that Austin had, 4 shots on goal for the 6 that Dallas had, 6 shots that was off target for the 4 that Austin had, 3 shots that was blocked compared to the 2 that Dallas had, and possession wise, 57% possession compared to 43% possession that Dallas has in this game. Very fiery game, and I can't wait until over these team playing a couple of TRs once again. Now, moving on into the last game on this board. Oh boy. So yeah, I mean, honestly, was I disappointed that the Loons completely self-destruct late in this game? Yes, I was very disappointed. But was I surprised that they melt down late in this game? Oh, not a bit whatsoever. This has been a problem for this Minnesota team in doing this losing run, and that I was really hoping that this might change, especially against DC, a team that seems like they're the one that we're melting down multiple times this season as well. But instead, you cannot underestimate the curse of Minnesota sports, and that yeah, I mean again, the only thing I'll say I'll talk about after this meltdown of what need to obviously change. Though you probably know what the message obviously is going to be. But if there is one thing that at least I was happy coming out of this game is to see the Make a Wish kid Carter Lucero score and the unofficial first goal. What a moment this is. Probably one of the great story that we seen from this week. Seeing him score his first goal. You usually don't see this happen a lot. I wish MLS team does this more often, where they can make a wish kid his dream come true of scoring a goal or even be an honorary captain. We've seen it in other league as well, and it's great to see Minnesota, of course, decided to do that. And he actually also nutmegged Bono there. I mean, that was actually a really good goal that he scored there as well, and one that I think after this game and really with me having just hampering how this team needs reinforcement, why not sign Carter Lucero to an unofficial first team contract? I mean, he's definitely a more lethal goal scorer compared to some of these players that's been scoring goals lately for this Minnesota team. So that being said, 1 minute into this game, and this is now for real. Bono would deny some bin from a point blank effort, and that was the only shot of this game. Despite the fact that I thought the Loons did look good, at least early on the front foot, that was only the first shot of this game. And on the first shot for DC, it's in the back of the net. It's Christian Benteke. He's back in his goal scoring form. So yeah, he made it 1-0 in this one. Just woeful defending there from Minnesota. Again, throughout this bad run of form, the one thing that I highlight about this team is the fact that the defense has just been non-existent at times this this run. And in this game, it was non-existent both on the defensive part and also set piece as well. Because here, just a bad turnover there from Caden Clark, and then off to the races on the other end. And I was kind of surprised to see Longwane was the last man back. Like, where in the world is the defense? I mean, I understand that Longwane probably should have done better there, but Longwane is not a defender. I mean, where in the world is the center backs in this team? Just absolute woeful defending there from this Minnesota team, and rightfully so, getting punished because of it. And they were down 1-0 in this game, and that goal really killed the momentum for the Loons because they started a little flat again. After that, though, Lud had a shot that was deflected and goes wide before Harvey hits it wide from close range. But then the 37 minute, or in the 32nd minute, sorry, making his return alongside with his national teammate Dane Sinclair. Uh, yeah, Tiny is back, and when Tiny is back, you know he's scoring. So he scored here from Dotson to tie the game up at one apiece, and that would be the score line heading into the second half. In the second half, Benteke would put it wide on the set piece. Once again, set piece defending continued to be a problem for Minnesota. That would just foreshadow of one of the main culprit of this meltdown that Minnesota would have later in this game. But really, not much chances has been created as the shots were only 5-3, 60 minutes in. In fact, I would say that this game looked very similar to the game between Minnesota and Dallas last season, where I remember that was the game where it was on national television, and there's a reason why there's probably going to be not a lot of national televised game at Allianz Field for a while now. I mean, as good as the stadium is, and it's always full, and the Wonder Wall always in full spirit. Yeah, I mean they tend to play some very boring games on national TV, and again, I know this was not on national TV, but man, this was. If you are watching this one and you're not a Minnesota or DC fan, I don't blame you for not watching this game and just tune into another game. It was a snooze fest at time, and was in Canada one of the worst game of the year. And part of that is because there was just so many fouls and just so many whistle in this one. There was no rhythm whatsoever. But that being said, in the 80th minute, Minnesota does take the lead. As Timo Pukki, again, whatever Timo Pukki has done ever since he suffered from that knee injury and rehabbing that, it has worked out well, and then some because he's finding his goal scoring form again. He scored here from Lud and Boxall to give the lead for Minnesota. So at this point, I was writing, can the Loons hold on to the lead, which has been a problem this season, and not only the fact that it was a big no. Yeah, this is when the meltdown began, especially on the set piece. As in the 89th minute, DC ties the game up. It's Aaron Herrera, a rare goal for him. It's been a while since Aaron Herrera has scored a goal here. I don't think he even scored a goal during his time with Montreal, but he scored here from Benteke and Rodriguez. Just some woeful set piece defending there from Minnesota. Like you just simply cannot let Benteke get to the ball first on the header. You know he's the most dangerous guy in the air this year, and yeah, Minnesota clearly didn't get that memo, and they were punished because of it. And if you thought that was frustrating enough, and wait till what we saw just 2 minutes later, because you know that guy that has been very dangerous in the air, and he's been dangerous throughout this game and pretty much throughout the season. Yeah, why not? Not let's also not mark him whatsoever. Though I will say that in this sequence that's actually not what happened. What happened in this sequence with Benteke scoring from Bartlett and Rodriguez was the fact that Carlos Harvey completely with his clearance. I mean, just again that is not even a scoop or error. I've seen high school defending been better in terms of that play, and just again the set piece of meltdown. Just I don't understand what has gone wrong with this team in terms of defending set pieces. This team was actually doing very well in terms of defending set pieces, and also now I can understand why Man U fans have been very frustrated about Eric Ramsey in terms of him being a guy that was a set piece specialist, but they don't do very well in terms of set pieces. And well, I will say that Minnesota has done very well this season in terms of set pieces. Man, lately defending set pieces, something's got to change with that. There is no way in the world that this team has turned into to the San Jose Earthquakes of 2021 when it comes to set piece defending. And again, yeah, that was kind of the big undone of this team as DC in a season where they're the one that always decide to choke away leads. They somehow ends up on the receiving end in or on the positive end in this one as they win 3-2 with a miraculous comeback in this game. As the shots in this one, yeah, there was only 7 shots compared to just 6 that Minnesota has. There were 13 shots in this game. There were games where there was much more shot by one team compared to both of these teams combined. 3 shots on goal for the 4 that DC had. Both team had 1 shots off target. Both team had 2 shots on block, and possession wise 55% possession compare the 45% possession that Minnesota has. And I know this is where you probably hear me once again saying reinforcement is desperately needed for this team. And the good news is reinforcement is coming for this team because right after when they suffer this embarrassing loss once again at home, we have heard that there's rumors that Minnesota have already got free signings done on the transfer window, and that might just kind of show you a sign that yeah, clearly this front office is seeing this disastrous run that they have, and something has to be done. Problem is that I don't know if the reinforcement that they of course got is the right player. I mean, I've heard that rumor that we're gonna get this guy from Syria that is Calvin Yoboa, but he's the number 9. Like this team do not need goal scoring uh as the reinforcement. This team clearly need a defensive and midfield presence, especially a number 6 too. They desperately need a number 6. They have not been able to find that replacement for Ozzy Alonso ever since he left this team. Well, you could argue Arriaga, of course, is the guy that we're able to do so, but he's gone. Like he's no longer with this team. They have to find a reinforcement in that spot, and if they don't, this is kind of the result we're gonna see from this team. I have not seen this team been this bad defending during the stretch. Probably since the first two season, and at least the first two season they have an excuse to do so because they came into the league. So I'm just begging that if they are gonna get reinforcements, which they clearly are doing, it has to be on the defensive front and in the midfield front. Do not get a reinforcement on the attacking front because, well, yes, there's been times this team has frustrates me on the attacking end. That is not the key thing that this team needs to fix. This team clearly needs defensive reinforcement, and yeah, I really hope that that is going to be the case now that the transfer window is open, and that I'm also not looking forward to the next game where they play against the Quakes. No, I say that, but in some way I'm kind of looking forward to because I can't see both of my team keep losing every single week when they're playing against each other, and I'll probably mention that again in the review. And that I would say that on one hand, well, it's frustrated to see two dumpster fire of the team that I root for facing off against each other. It's also not a bad thing because now I don't have to be very frustrated with the resort, unless if the resort turns it to be an absolute frustrated case where both teams decided to blow leads back and forth, which something tells me that could be the case. Something tells me that game between Minnesota and San Jose is going to be similar to what I said about Portland versus Sporting KC, and it's like when we get into the last 50 minutes, who's going to be the team that are going to dare to hold a lead into the game? Because knowing that both of these teams will find ways to blow a big lead and end up losing the game. But for DC again, big win for them. Hopefully this might be a start to kick off their season after this woeful run that they've been on. But yeah, either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure guys who like, smash the subscribe button. As always, let me know in the comments below what do you think of all of these games. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.